And hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge back once again with another episode of my ongoing weekly series, Valiant Till the Last. Possibly quite poorly timed given what's happening with Valiant Comics at the moment, but hey, I wanted to read my entire deluxe edition hardcover collection and I wanted to document it in case anyone else was interested. Um, on that note, today is another video where I won't be looking at a deluxe edition hardcover. I'm looking at a series called The Forgotten Queen that hasn't been collected in hardcover, and I was quite looking forward to because I thought it looks quite interesting. So, what is The Forgotten Queen? It's a four-issue limited series called The Forgotten Queen that came out in 2019, actually the exact same time, month by month, as what we looked at last week, which was the amazing miniseries Incursion. So, I was really quite looking forward to this because, from what I gather, having done a little bit of research more than just looking at the covers of the comics, this actually stars and is all about the character of Warmonger. Now, if you're watching this series, you'll know that in the second volume, not that it was actually collected as a second deluxe edition hardcover, but the second set of Unity comics that I looked at, there was a series arc there about the Warmonger, who was this crazy, powerful, immortal woman that had this power of fomenting unrest and dissent and bloodlust in everyone around her. Really kind of cool. And that was a great story. And I think at that time I was reading it and I was like, who the hell is this and where the hell did she come from? Now, I stand by that. That was the correct order to read it in because that's when that came out. It came out first. That was the first time we saw Warmonger. But now in the series The Forgotten Queen, which came out in 2019, we actually get a chance to look at that character in more detail and understand more about their context, their history, and where they fit into the wider Valiant universe. So, unlike my original kind of gut instinct, which is that this was, if anything, linked to Britannia and Romanic stuff. It is set way back in olden times, with the Romans and Genghis Khan and invading hordes and that sort of thing. But it definitely fits into the broader Valiant universe. I'm not going to give any spoilers into why or how, but it definitely does because it's all about Warmonger. What do I think of this? Artwork generally very good. It has some great illustrations by Amilcar Pinner, and as a story, as an idea, it was good. It had a bit of a weird twist at the end, which I was like, okay, this could have been done better. But I think that comes down to my criticism of the series. It's just not well written. Something about the writing just doesn't click. Um, it wasn't badly written, but I don't enjoy reading stuff where, as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, oh, this person has done this or they've said this. Oh, it would have been better if they'd done something slightly different or said something slightly different. To think that while you're reading a story really breaks that level of immersion and really kind of highlights that the writer isn't, for whatever reason, hitting the buttons for me personally. Now, this is written by Teenie Howard, and I guess I have to be kind of careful what I say here, simply because I'm aware that there is uh, a faction of comics internet that is very much against people like Teenie Howard and Vita Ayala and things like that, and they make videos about how much they dislike these writers and so on and so forth. It could be argued this is thinly veiled misogyny or thinly veiled racism or whatever, and there's lots of back and forth, and I don't want to get tied into the politics of it. What I will say is this is the first time I've read anything by Teenie Howard, and when I read it, I was just like, why do I not like this? This isn't well done. Surely I've read other stuff by Teenie Howard and found it fine. And I checked her biography, and actually I haven't read any of her other stuff. I've seen her name around loads because she's writing lots of stuff in the Marvel Dawn of X universe. She's writing a couple of series there. And I was like, oh, this does not bode well. This is the first thing I've read from Teenie Howard, barring a Top Cow one shot from 2013. And I was like, this isn't great. It's not terrible, but this definitely doesn't show kind of writing quality. Um, and I guess I need to be sort of careful and balanced with what I'm saying here. I guess I'm saying this isn't writing that suits me, and this isn't writing that I think does the character of Warmonger any justice. It could have been done better, and it should have been done better. So as a result, this series is not bad, but it's also not great. It's also not something where I'd be tempted to add this into any kind of deluxe edition collection or custom bound collection that I do. So it's a little bit of a shame. So what is the series about? Well, the series itself, in terms of storyline, and like I say, I won't give any spoilers. It's set in the modern day, after the events of Warmonger fighting Unity back then a few years earlier. And it's set in the modern day, and it's about how Warmonger essentially comes back, for want of a better term. She comes back into the modern world, carries on just wreaking carnage and so on. But it's riddled throughout by these huge flashbacks and flashback retrospective narratives of things she did way back in the era of Genghis Khan. And it's an interesting story. I'm not going to take that away from it. And it has got an interesting twist at the end, which is, I guess, okay. But like I say, the writing doesn't quite click for me. That said, if you're a fan of Warmonger, if you're a fan of Unity, and if you're a fan of the kind of the Eternal Warrior Three Brothers kind of dynamic, in other words, immortal warriors running amok throughout history, this is definitely something to read. I would definitely recommend reading it. I would just say temper your expectations because I came out of it ever so slightly disappointed, thinking this was a wasted opportunity. Anyway, that's The Forgotten Queen, a four-issue limited series. I wasn't 100% certain what I was going to read next, but having kind of pondered it in a bit more detail, what I decided to do is next I'm going to jump into another set of uncollected stories. There's actually a four-issue limited series from 2016 called Savage, which I know nothing about. Again, I kind of figured that was in the same breath as The Forgotten Queen because it's kind of like about some caveman basically fighting cave monsters, I think, based on the covers. But there's actually two limited series. There's one from 2016 and one from 2021, Volume 1 and Volume 2. What I'm going to recommend as homework for next time, because I don't want to have like too many of these videos if I can help it. Let's just kill off the whole of Savage. Let's kill off all 8 issues, the 2016 miniseries and the 2021 miniseries. Let's do that. That's our homework next time. Let's see. Is that linked into Forgotten Queen? Is that linked into Warmonger? Does that involve Gilad or the Eternal Warrior at any point? Or is it just a random non sequitur caveman story? Let's find out next time. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. As always, please follow me on Twitter at I am Thomas Judge, where I will post a daily review of whatever comics I've been reading. You can get an idea of what I'm up to on the channel. And as always, please support the channel by heading over to Amazon.com and checking out my prose novel about superheroes. It's a completely original piece of work. The first episode in it is called Arrivals, and the series as a whole is called No Gods or Kings. You can find an excerpt of that on my website, nogodsorkings.com. Until next time, everybody, stay classy.